Again. So we're going to start lying on your back in this flow workout, and it's going to be pretty gentle. And then we'll finish by moving into a standing position and work on some balance things and integrate everything that we work on more isolated on the floor. So we'll go ahead and start. We're going to start lying on your back with your legs out straight. And so as you do this, as you extend your legs out, it's going to put more pressure into your low back because it's driving your pelvis down. And that also changes with how much tissue and stuff you have on the back of your hips and thighs and butt and everything. So as you bend your legs back and flatten your, bring your feet flat to the floor, bend your knees, you'll notice that already that starts to drive your pelvis and hips back, which is called an anterior pelvic tilt, and that starts to flatten your back, and it makes it easier to flatten. So right now we're going to flatten the back with your knees bent, feet flat. You're going to try to maintain that as you extend one leg out straight. Try to maintain that flat back and then bring the other that leg back in. Relax. You're going to press the back into the floor and extend the other leg out. Try to keep that back flat and then relax. Relax everything, let that back come up off the floor, then flatten it back down. We're going to extend that first side once again. Try to maintain that flat back out. So what we're doing, and then relax. That allows that space to happen in your small back. Flatten down and extend that leg out. It's one side tighter as you extend, and then relax. Allow your low back to go back to more relaxed position. Now what we're going to do is you're going to go back to your legs out straight, both of them. And again, that's going to arch your back a little bit more. We're going to go between. So you're going to arch up as high as you can, creating space in that low back. And then you're going to flatten it as much as you can. And here it's harder to flatten with both legs out. Then relax. Arch that back up. Relax. And flatten. And as you flatten, you're thinking about tightening up your abdominal area, your stomach. You're trying to pull your sternum towards your pelvis and towards your hips and pelvis area. So everything is just squeezing together like an accordion. Then relax. Arch up as high as you can. And then when you arch, you're trying to squeeze your back muscles. You're thinking about bringing your vertebrae, the back bones of the back towards each other. Extending your back up, arching your stomach towards the sky, then relax. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some side bending. So first we're going to do it through your lower body. You're going to push through one leg, allow the other side to lift up, and then you're going to relax, bringing it back to more neutral, and then push the other side down, lifting the other side up. So you're just pushing through the bottom of your feet, rocking side to side, get a nice hold and pause. And you got one leg down, and then relax. The hips are even when you're relaxed, and then you're trying to shove the other leg down, lift the other one up. Does one side feel tighter? Push through the other leg. One more to the other side. Pushing through that leg and relax. Now, what we're going to think about is your hips. You can feel these little points on the top of each side. So you can put your right hand on top of the right hip and your left on top of the left, and you can feel those little hard little bones. It's called an ASIS. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to rotate one side at a time. And as you do that, the same side shoulder is going to push into the ground. So right now I'm going to do my right side. So I'm going to lift that right hip up, and my right shoulder is going to kind of go into the ground a little bit to get a little bit of pressure and leverage as I rotate. Think about my hips being your steering wheel, and then relax. And now I'm going to go the other direction. So now I'm going to turn my left over to the right, and I'm pushing that left shoulder into the floor as that left hip is rotating out. And then relax. Going to do the other side. And so as I come out of this, I don't feel it when I'm holding it. But when I come out, I feel kind of a low-grade sensation in my low back. And then rotate to the other side. So becoming aware of how does your body feel when holding the position, and relax. Coming out of the position. Now we're going to bring your feet flat once again, knees bent, and we're going to go back into flattening your back. And as you do this, keep that chin tucked, and then relax. We're going to arch up as high as you can in this position. And you want to move slowly between these extensions and flexion, and then flex once again, flattening your back. And extend. You don't want to rush into them or slam into them. Just gently move. We're going to do each one once again, flattening. Relax. And extend. And relax. Now we're going to take your legs back out. We're going to take both legs over to the right side of the mat. So you're just going to slide the right leg out, and then the left leg's going to go towards it, but it's going to get to a point where it's tight. You're going to take your upper body, we're going to side bend. You're going to take your shoulder down, keeping the head on the floor towards the right foot, and then go back to the middle of the mat, and then you're going to take your left shoulder away and take your left hand towards your left foot, even though both feet are over to that right corner of the mat. Body back to the middle, your torso. Now we're going to bring your feet back to the middle of the mat. Take your feet to the left side of the mat. And we're going to lean left arm towards the left ankle. Back to the middle of the mat with your torso. And then side bend right arm towards your right ankle. Back to the middle of your torso, and then bring your lower body back to the mat. All right, we're going to move to side lying. So when you move to side lying, you want to make sure that your arm or your head is rested on your arm, or you have a pillow underneath your head. But we also want to make sure that your shoulder is not in a compromised position. So you want to see if your shoulder's directly out. That's going to be a little bit easier, and your head's going to have to flex to rest on it. If your arm's up overhead, that's going to put a little bit more strain and stress into your shoulder, but is a little bit easier for keeping your head in alignment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lift one leg at a time. And when we lift this top leg, we want to make sure that the pelvis in your body is not rocking forward or backward. So we're going to lift the leg. We're going to keep that leg straight, but you're going to kind of push that foot and heel back behind this front leg. So now almost like you're in a split stance, like a V with the legs, scissoring the legs and some. And then you're going to bring that leg back in alignment with the bottom leg, lower. We're going to rotate the toes and knee up towards the ceiling. And you're going to lift that leg up. And again, trying to scissor backwards. And this is a lot tighter. I cannot move nearly as far. Bring that leg back in alignment with the bottom leg and down. Now we're going to bring this foot, bottom of the foot towards the floor. We're going to lift this top knee up, and then you're going to let that knee drop back down. That edge of the foot goes towards the floor. Lift that knee back up. Back down. One more. You're going to lift that knee up, the foot flat, up the foot goes flat to the floor. We're going to lift the bottom leg up, squeezing the thighs together, trying to keep that knee up. It wants to fall back down, try to prevent it. Then relax that bottom leg, relax the top leg. We're going to do each of those once again. Extend, rotating that hip up, and then you're going to lift the bottom leg up off the floor, keeping that hip and knee, trying to keep that knee pointing towards the ceiling, and relax. All right, we're going to turn to the other side. We're going to repeat that with the other side. So again, paying attention to where your head is resting on this arm and what position your shoulder is in. So here we're going to, again, pay attention. We don't want to do any rocking with this body as we lift the leg. We're going to lift your leg. You're going to hold it nice and steady, and then you're going to push that heel and ankle back. Doing the split stance. Bring that leg back up where it's aligned with the bottom leg, drop it down. We're going to rotate toes and knee up. You're going to lift. Again, not allowing any rolling of your pelvis and body to happen. It's just a single leg moving. Push it back behind the bottom leg so you're more of that split stance. Are your hips okay with you moving in this way? Bring it back in, lower, let it rotate out. We're going to bring the foot up in front, flatten it toward the floor. We're going to lift your knee up and out with the foot flat, and then you're going to let it drop back down. We're going to lift up once again. Again, same thing, trying to prevent any body movement. You're just thinking if there's something pushing on this outside part of the knee, can you push it away, back down, letting the outer or the inner edge of the foot go towards the floor. And then as you push that knee up and out, the bottom of the foot touches the floor. We're going to hold that up and out as we lift the bottom leg, squeezing those thighs together. Drop that down. Relax the bottom or the top knee. We're going to do that once again. Lift. And then lift that bottom leg as you hold that knee high to the sky. Try to keep that kneecap pointing more towards the ceiling. Lifting that bottom leg up off the floor. Drop that bottom leg. Relax the top leg. We're going to turn over face down and do some things for the arms. So what we're going to do here is you're going to place your forehead on the back of your hands. And you're also going to pay attention to what your feet are doing. Do you want the tips of your toes on the floor with your ankles more dorsiflexed, more of this 90 degree at your ankles? Or is your feet and ankles and the bottom of your feet okay with you putting the tops of your feet, pointing your toes away? Do you need a bolster? Can you do in between those positions? So just being aware of what that is doing to your feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one arm out to the side, 90 degrees, elbow is bent. We're going to lift that hand up and elbow up as you keep that chin tucked. Holding it up and then relax back down. We're going to do that once again. You're going to lift up, keep your chin tucked. Then you're going to reach that hand up overhead, straightening your arm. You're going to bring that hand and elbow out wide. Think about taking your elbow down into your low back, towards your hips. Keeping your chin tucked. Keep this hand up, it likes to rotate down. Reach it back up and out. Up overhead, trying to bring that upper arm towards your ear, towards the inside of the head, squeezing. Arm is up high, elbows extended. Then we're going to swing it out to the side, bending at the elbow, taking the elbow and hand down towards your low back, mid back. And relax. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So again, that forehead is on the back of the hand. We've got your hand and elbow out to the side, bent at 90. We lift that hand and elbow up, holding it nice and steady. And then lower that arm back down. We'll do that once again, and then you're going to lift, reaching, stretching, trying to get that inside upper arm towards your ear, towards the back of the head. Lift that hand and arm high, then bring that hand and elbow out to the side, and bring it back down into your low back, holding it up. It wants to rotate down. Really work that back side of the shoulder by trying to keep that hand almost above the elbow, working this external rotation. And then reach that hand and elbow up and out to the side, hand up overhead. Keep that arm high, back down. And relax. Alright, so now if you want to roll up your mat, or if you have a towel that you want to use, we're just going to rest your head down with both arms along your sides. You're going to go palms down. Reach the fingertips towards your feet. Keep the chin tucked. And we're going to lift both arms up, squeezing your shoulders back, opening the front of your chest. Breathe. Hold the position, but not your breath. Really squeeze your back, then relax the arms. Kind of roll the shoulders out a little bit. You can change your hand and arm position. Change the direction of those shoulder circles. We're going to go back to palms down. Reach the fingertips towards your feet. Really depress those shoulders. They like to shrug. Keep them down. Then we're going to lift those hands, arms high. Open up the front of your chest. Squeeze your shoulders back. Squeezing your back muscles. Squeezing the back of your arms. You can make even fist and everything. Kind of move your wrist around. Again, holding the position, but not your breath. Relax those arms. All right, we're going to move up to a kneeling position. So again, here you might want to roll up your mat or have an extra pad or towel down below your knee. We've talked from time to time that even like a little gardening pad is nice to be able to have underneath your knee. Often just the force, which is a compression force, is pretty sensitive on your knee. So having that extra padding is really beneficial. And then over time, for some of us, we can build up our tolerance to having less padding. But that starts by not irritating it in the moment. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to get space between this leg that you're kneeling on and the front foot that's flat. We want to try to get some distance between these 2 points as opposed to having them close together. So again, try to get some distance. We want to be nice and tall through the leg that you're posting on, the crown of your head. Feeling a stretch through here. If you can, we want to think about driving your hip forward through the front of your leg, through the pants, but not changing your base of support. And then back. And again, push forward, push into it, but allow your body to do it. Try not to use other things to shove you into it. And then relax, allow these muscles around this hip area to do the work. Now we're going to switch the position of your posting. And it's okay, you don't have to necessarily get the same distance that you had with the other side, but respect what you can do on this side. So get into position and then find where that is. Get nice and tall through that leg that you're posting on, through the crown of your head. We're pushing forward, but you're allowing the muscles inside the hip and pelvis to do it. Then relax. And again, driving through that leg, through that thigh. We're allowing the friction of the floor and relax to allow those muscles to create a sharp contraction. All right, from here we're going to go ahead and move to a standing position. So if you want, you can use anything you need to help you stand, but really try to keep your back up nice and tall. So now that we're in a standing position, we're going to do some standing balance exercises. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stand with your feet hip width apart. We're going to do our gingerbread man. And we're going to do rather quick transitions today, which is going to be a little bit more of a core exercise and more force going into your hips. But we're also taking away some of the endurance because we're not holding the position, and it's less of a balance exercise. But getting these muscles stronger will also aid with balance. So again, we're going to go hands out, palms forward, thumbs out, shoulders down. Try not to shrug up. We're going to lean up on one side, and we're down, up onto the other, and we're just going back and forth. Trying to not change the position of your hips, trying to still get height on your lean. Last one, and relax. Okay, march it out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little hip hike. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to tilt our hips, lifting one leg just about an inch off the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to lean and hitch that hip or hip that hike up, which allows that heel to lift, but both legs stay straight. And it's this side hip and core working to side bend. Now we're going to switch to the other side. And so again, you might have to hang on. It's okay to have to hang on to something. And it's okay to kind of have to help your body get in that position and then hold it. All right, from there, what we're going to do is we're going to do some shoulder extension. So we're going to do palms facing back, thumbs in. We're going to keep the head and chest up. We're going to take the arms behind the body, just pushing back. Then we're going to bring the hands all the way up in front, up overhead. Take them out a little bit wider, like more of like a V versus an I position, so they can be out a little bit. And then sweep them back through, back past the body, head and chest high. And sweep it back up. Feel how that feels throughout your upper back, shoulders, through your low back. We're going to sweep back through. We're going to do one more each position. Sweeping it back, back forward, up and through. and down. All right, now we're going to take your hands, we're going to place them in the middle. You actually want to think about, you have like a ball or a box that you're trying to push together to allow your muscles throughout your chest and arms to create a stronger contraction. So we're also figuring out how much can your wrist and hands tolerate. So don't push too hard that it irritates your wrist. But we want to push together. We're holding it nice and steady. And then relax. And then once again, just bring those elbows out, forearms towards each other, press those hands, holding it nice and steady. And relax, shake it out. Now we're going to bring your hands together. We're not going to press as hard as we just were, but we are going to keep your hands together. And now we're going to reach up towards the ceiling, and we're going to see, where do your hands and arms get tight? Can you get those arms fully up overhead, keeping those hands together, and then back down. And again, how high can you get those arms? And here, can they go close to the ears, back behind the body, elbows straight, with keeping your hands together, and back down. Knowing that we are going to get tight through here. Now we're going to do a single leg stand, taking one leg forward at a time, staying nice and tall through the chest. Lift this leg up nice and tall. Keep that front of the thigh nice and tight, knee extended. Again, holding the position, but not your breath. Holding it here nice and steady. We're going to stay with that same leg, bringing it down. Now we're going to lift with the toe and knee pointed out. But now you're lifting the inside part of the ankle, inside part of the knee and thigh towards the ceiling, up in front. Not forcing it. Relax that leg. We're going to go to the other leg, lifting, keeping the knee and foot pointing forward. We're going to sweep it forward, out in front, till you feel the tightness. Staying tall through the body, keeping it tight through the thigh. And then down. We're going to stay with that same leg. We're going to rotate out. Lift that inside part of the thigh and knee up and forward. Or more forward and up, really. And then relax that leg back down. All right, march it out. Now we're going to do a couple little modified lunges where we're going to have, and squats, we're going to have your feet about hip width apart, maybe toes pointed out a little bit. And all we're going to do is just take your knees forward until your heels want to lift up off the floor, and then press your knees back. We're going to do that 5 times. So we're leaning into it, keeping your feet on the floor, back up. Lean into it. Again, we're trying to keep your back up. It's all happening at your knees. 2 more. Does it hurt your knees? Do you feel it more in your feet and ankles? 1 more. And again, my knees are about hip width apart, and then back up. All right. Excellent job.